Hello and welcome to this Carveco tutorial. Today we are going to modify a 3D relief that was purchased on the internet, and quite a lot of these files, when you import them in, they're a little bit electronically noisy. So Carveco has tools within it that can put the model right. So we're going to do that right now. So we're simply just going to drag and drop 3D or grayscale straight into Carveco. And so what we're going to do first is raise the resolution to 2000 dpi, dots per inch, high resolution. Then we are going to alter the size, and in our case I need this to be 170 millimeters in height, and in the Z I think I'm going to use 13 millimeters, which is approximately half an inch. And we're going to put the start of the program in the center of our material, and we're going to press OK. So you can see if I zoom in here, you can see there's contour lines here, and if I continued to machine this, some of these contour lines would actually be machined in the material. And you can see here quite prominent cross-hatching lines. This is interference, and you can see them quite pronounced here on this cloak, and that would actually machine in your work, and you know, it wouldn't be very nice. So Carveco has tools to deal with this. Now I'll keep it zoomed in on this central Jesus character here, and we will go straight to smooth relief tool. So if you hover over each individual icon here, it tells you exactly what it is. So this is the one we need, and I'm running a fairly new computer that's you know, on Windows 10, and it's a fairly fast computer, so I can change this in real time with just a, you know, sort of a moment's delay. So what we want to do is do the whole relief, or rather we want to smooth the whole relief. Now if we catch out of the slider bar, and if we slide it up a couple of percent, it started, you can see it started to actually take it out. See, it's softening it and smoothing it. Now all the contour lines have gone, but we're still left with this ridge, so we'll get rid of that a little bit more. It is actually going. Let's go a little bit, let's go take it to 40. Okay, let's step back here a little bit now. That is looking a lot better. The ridge is actually gone now, or whatever part of the ridge is left is, you know, it's going to be it's not going to be machined, it's not going to be noticed. Okay, so we have Jesus now and the 12 disciples, but I think they're actually in pewter or something at the moment. So I think we will change this now to another material, I think. We'll accept that. We'll apply. And we're happy with that, and we'll come out of that. And now we'll, if you want, whatever you want to change this to, you know, you can change it to whatever you like, material wise. So I actually find that, you know, these models look pretty good in, let me see, what have we got now? Gold. Could be gold. Actually, polished brass is pretty nice. Yeah, that's okay, I think. Actually, I've just noticed something. If I zoom in on, looks as though he's got a bit of a swollen eye. Well, there are tools that we can take care of that as well. Make it look a little bit more presentable, because it is noticeable, and it might machine like that. It might look a little odd. So we can do something with that. And so we'll zoom in and we'll go to the twiddle tool. And yeah, it's a little, looks a little swollen. The cheekbone's okay, but the eye just looks a little, I think it looks a little odd. It might have been reflection. I think we'll just take his cheekbone area down very slightly. And we can do that. Now these tools here, what you can do is, you know, smooth part of the relief, smudge, deposit material, carve material out, erase material, transform, or that's a putty knife. Now I suppose I could use that, but for this sort of thing, I only want to be very delicate here. Now this slider bar, this one will alter the size of the area that's going to be affected. You see that slightly shaded area moving on the screen? You'll alter that with this. And of course we're dealing now down at the pixel level. I think that's probably alright. Strength, smoothness, I want it very smooth. Now this bump here, this gives you the sort of a graphic view of how much you're going to alter the 3D image by. A very slight amount. And we'll raise the, just want to take it down slightly. You know, you can be very delicate with this. Down to even 1 pixel. A bit of definition through there, I think. Treat this like an artist's brush. May look as though I'm not doing an awful lot, but you know, we're altering it by individual pixels here, so, and sometimes it's easier to turn it and just see. You know, you just want an impression of an eye here. Well, in between here, I just want to put a little bit of, so we'll smudge this slightly. Just make that a little smaller. Just smudge in there, a little smaller again. and raise the strength up a little. Just want to give an impression of an eye here. So, very, very slight impression of an eye. See, there's only a very slight impression of an eye there. And we want to... I think that's as far as we're going to go, actually. I think that's all we need to do. Because bear in mind, from his nose to here is only about probably 1/4 of an inch. So the tool is going to come in, ramp down the nose area here, and sort of move across. And you know, it's not going to machine an awful lot, because I'm going to be using a 2mm ball mill. So, and that'll be about a 2mm radius in there. So, you know, it will just about get into there, I think. And okay, I'm going to call that pretty good, actually. So still looks a little swollen, but it could be a bit of reflection, I think. I'm going to call that good. Okay, so now we go on to the next process of machining. So we're going to do this in two passes. We're going to do a roughing and then a finishing. So we can go to the tool pass in two areas, either go over to here, or we can go up to here. So we're going to be doing a 3D tool path, and it's a machine relief. And we're going to be doing the whole relief, and we're going to do a roughing first. So we're going to choose a 12. Actually, we're going to create a new tool here, because tool I have an extended tool that I've just acquired, and it's actually 1/2 inch. So the equivalent to this, so first of all we'll copy this and select the top one. Now we're going to edit this, and it's actually 12.75 millimeters. We don't need to alter anything here in the tooling list, except for here, 12.75. Nothing else matters here, because we can alter this to suit whatever material that we are machining. Well, you know, we can tailor that. So I'm going to select that one, and there it appears now in our tool selection. Sorry. Step over. Actually, we can take that up to probably 4 millimeters. Step down. 3.5 is probably okay. Feed rate. Now I have an industrial CNC router, so I can speed that rate up to 60 millimeters per second quite comfortably. I could take it up to 100 millimeters per second, but I do know that up at that speed, depending on the material you're cutting into, you can cause some splintering, so we'll keep it at 60. And I normally do the plunge rate at just a little under 50%, so I'm going to go 25 millimeters, which is 1 inch. Now, because I've raised this feed rate up, you have to compensate by raising the RPM up as well. Otherwise, it's possible for the tool, as you're forcing it through the material faster, it could bog down, especially if you have a smaller spindle power output. You might be able to detect my German Shepherd snoring in the background. I'm sorry about that. The tool number here really doesn't matter to me because I don't have a tool changer. Raster, I'm going to just do a standard raster, standard back and forth. And we'll cut both directions. In other words, it's going to cut from left to right and right to left. 0 slices. That's taken care of here. Step down. Add ramp moves. I normally like to use ramp moves, so we'll leave that ticked. Safe said. Yeah, we'll leave that as it is. Let's set up the material. Actually, my material thickness is 25 millimeters. It's 1 inch thick. Pretty well. 0 at the top. I'm going to OK that. And we're going to name this as, let me see, JC. And let's say 12.75 millimeter. I'm just going to call it an N mil. And we're going to calculate now. Okay, so we'll come out of that. Now I like to do my tool paths separately. Now I do know that there is, you know, you can sort of set up your finishing and your roughing here. I just like to do them separately. I always have. Let me see, 2 millimeter tapered ball mill. Okay. Step over 0.2. That'll be fine. Step down. I'm going to put that at 5 millimeter just to make sure it does it all in one cut. Feed rate. 60 millimeters a second. I'd like to raise this up to about 50% of the feed rate. Now I need to really get this thing singing. So I'm going to 24,000 RPM. We're going to do a standard raster. and call this JC and 2 2mm ball mill and calculate. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is simulate. I want to simulate both tool paths actually. That looks very presentable. Now, bear in mind what you see here is exactly what is going to be reproduced in your material. It's a very, very true representation. I think that looks fantastic. So now what we need to do is export the files. And that's simply done just by coming here to this floppy disk icon, and you can actually, if you highlight, you can use these arrows to move these around in these boxes. So what I'm going to do is do the roughing first. Desktop, and we're going to name this as JC cut 1 and save. Highlight, bring that one back here. Take that one over, cut 2. A lot of people have contacted me saying, oh, they can't find their machine listed in the Carveco outputs, which is here. And, you know, Carveco listed hundreds and hundreds. You know, there's Haas here. And you'll find Tormac here as well, and what have you. I will scroll down. Roland. Many, many, many machines. What you need to look for, and what every machine will understand, is standard G code. And this is the standard G code here. Now I'm using millimeters. I've written this in millimeters, and my machine is set up for millimeters, so it's G code millimeters tap. If your machine is set up for inches, it would be G code inches tap. This is standard G code, so you save it in that. Okay, and then you take that code and put it into your machine, and off you go, and it will machine it. And like I said, it will be exactly what you see here. So thank you for joining me for this tutorial. If you have any questions, please drop me a line or leave a comment, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. And please join me again for the machining of this. I will be doing the next couple of days for this coming Easter weekend. So it's bye for now.